Hello everyone and welcome back to etellan. For today's video, I decided to kick off the end of the year with a community request by making a rendition doll of one of my favourite animes, MADOKA MAGICA. I will be making the show's protagonist, Madoka, in my own style. For those who've been following me recently, you would know that I love cute things, but I also very much like horror, and just a great coincidence that MADOKA MAGICA seems to indulge both those content cravings. The show serves as a deconstruction of the magical girl genre, told in a horror-based animation style, definitely reminding me of Evangelion and Perfect Blue. To start off this custom, I'll be using an Elizabeth from Monster High as a base. To prep this doll for customization, I'll be removing the hair and factory paint by removing the head first. I had wrote in the script, make a mammy joke here, but it's been 9 years and I'm still not over it. I get a lot of questions asking if I do only 2 coats of Mr. Super Clear, and the answer is no. Throughout this whole face up, I did 6 to 7 coats of Mr. Super Clear, doing a coat between each pencil, blushing and glittering layer. It helps in building up the intensity of colours, but also creating dimension and giving you the freedom of experimentation. With Albrecht, Durer, FABER-CASTELL watercolours, I start with a face up. MADOKA MAGICA is styled in a very early 2010s anime style, with heavy moe influence, big eyes, big head, etc. As this will be translated into a Monster High doll, I decided to just stick with my own style when it comes to the face up. Fun fact, while editing this video, I noticed that all my videos have a very yellow hue to them recently that I didn't actually notice in real time, and realised later on that it's actually the fire smoke that's all across Australia at the moment. Sadly, still going strong, that you forget what normal lighting is. For the irises, I'll be using Vallejo transparent red and white, and an army painter brush to make the details. When painting miniatures, it's really important to water down your paints as it hides brushstrokes and creates a smooth, even layer to build up detail. Once that's done, I go with soft pastels and eyeshadow to bring out the detail in the face. Normally in my face-ups, I really love the use of heavy blushing, but I decided against this with MADOKA, as MADOKA is in a constant state of trauma and stress. So I gave her a washed out look, centering the blushing around the middle of her eyes with blue, black and purple, as this creates a very tired look. Later on, I wanted to make sure that she was smiling, which is in contrast to the eyes that I'm building at the moment. As in all of the promotional material, MADOKA is smiling, which is very much not what happens in the show, I suppose, as it's quite melancholic. So I wanted to give a nice nod to the original media. Onto hair, I decided to go with something a little different from MADOKA. Instead of using wefted synthetic hair like I usually do, I decided to create my own hair by making yarn wefts. With 100% acrylic yarn, I brush out the fibres, straighten it and glue it to a piece of plastic, and this creates the wefts for application. Yarn hair isn't really my personal preference when it comes to making dolls, but when it comes to anime-based dolls, it's the only thing that you can use, really. Yarn hair is just so much more malleable. You can create the really anime stylized hair with it, and a cost-effective idea when it comes to customizing dolls. MADOKA has pigtails, so I'll be making the fringe first, and then we'll be working at one side at a time when forming the pigtails. By positioning the hair front-facing around the edges of the scalp, the wefts will be hidden once the hair is styled in place. For added protection and thickness, I also glued hair going the opposite direction on top of the already glued wefts. Once this is done, I used an unused toothbrush to brush the hair and iron the hair flat with my straightener on a low heat. With sharp scissors, I'll start shaping the pigtails. The pigtails are styled in a very early 2010 style, separated and arrowed. By separating sections, then cutting away individually, I will be able to somewhat replicate the style. Onto clothes. I'm terrible when it comes to actually showing the process of making clothes, as I have a general sense of no idea what I'm doing 24/7. But I digress. Using 100% polyester, I start by making the top. The top consists of a pink base, yellow front panel, and laced edges, so we'll start out by making the base first. The skirt will be a puffy skirt with a petticoat underneath to give it a super cupcake look. By doing a gathering technique 1 centimeter away from the edge, the skirt will curve and go from a 50s style skater skirt to a cupcake style. On top of the white skirt will be a smaller skirt, which will be cut into a flower shape, lined with red ribbon along the edges. In addition to this, I made basic sleeves, socks, and painted some red shoes pink, later adding ribbon that will be made into bows to the backs of her ankles, like in the original design. Once that's done, all that's left to do is dress and assemble her. Thank you all so much for watching and for checking out my content in the last 6 months. Let me know what you think of Madoka in the comments below, and if you have any suggestions on what you'd like to see me make in 2020. I love reading all your comments and try to reply to as many as I can. As always, if you'd like to see more of this doll or any of my other dolls, make sure to check out my Instagram at etellan.